I want to introduce, do you know something? The class of the speakers is going up. It used to just be people like me, but today we've got Pete Gotch. He's a criminal barrister. He's talking to Tommy Robinson. Give it up for Pete Gotch.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to top that. That's just impossible, isn't it? My name's Pete Gotch. I'm a criminal barrister of England and Wales. I've been doing that for 19 years. Before I was doing that, I was a police officer. I was with Thames Valley Police for 15 years. But, you know what, I think that puts me in a good place to be able to say some legal facts to the people that govern us. And I'm going to start off with a few general facts, and then I'm going to add in a few facts about the way that the state is treating Tommy Robinson. So, fact number one, I love my country. Let me know if you agree with me. Loving your country does not make you far right. Fact two, uncontrolled illegal immigration is damaging our country. Being concerned about illegal immigration does not make you a racist. Fact three, there is a problem in this country with a toxic Islamic ideology. Being concerned about the spread of Islam does not make you Islamophobic. A phobia is an irrational fear, or a fear of something which is unrealistic. There is nothing irrational about fearing a group who commit 80% of all terrorist attacks in the UK. Fact four, there is a massive crackdown on free speech underway in this country. Blasphemy laws look as if they may be just around the corner. The police are now openly political. People are in prison for Facebook posts, while violent criminals are being released to make room for them. Tommy Robinson, currently serving 18 months in prison for showing the film Silenced. In other words, for telling the truth when other media outlets were just telling lies. And here's the thing, he's not just in prison, he's in solitary confinement. Now that is something that is usually used to punish prisoners who act up in prison. And we know that segregation of that kind for periods longer than 14 days can have a detrimental effect on somebody's mental health. And we know that because prison psychologists tell us that. But Tommy is likely to spend 9 months on his own. So why is that? Some would say it's an attempt to break him. The prison would say, oh, it's for his own protection. Well, let's quickly look at those two alternatives. I'll address a few questions directly to Nicola Marfleet, the governor of Woodhill Prison. Nicola Marfleet, if you have to keep Tommy Robinson in solitary confinement, who are you protecting him from? Why does Tommy have to be kept in solitary rather than dealing with the group who are making the threats against him? Doesn't that exactly mirror what is going on in society? Where, rather than dealing with the violent criminals, we prefer to deal instead with the people who call them out. Ms. Marfleet, Governor, there is a difference between segregation and solitary confinement. there must be plenty of people in that prison who would be quite happy to be housed with Tommy Robinson. Just safe people, just people who are not jihadists. So why then is he kept isolated from everybody? If it's for his own protection, why have all the visitors who've been to see him so far been made to sign a non-disclosure agreement so that the things that Tommy says in prison cannot be repeated outside of the prison? What is it that you don't want the public to hear? And why, Ms. Marfleet, as a public servant, are you involving yourself in politics? And how does that relate in any way to his protection? And I hear now that all his visits have now been stopped. All personal visits to Tommy have now been stopped. There can be no possible legal justification for doing that. If it isn't an attempt to break him, what is it? The public need an explanation. And these questions, of course, should be asked by those that represent us over there. But they're not being asked. Lastly, Tommy should be in an open prison. He's category C. He should really be category D and in open conditions. Now, there's no clear definition of who's entitled to a category D open prison, but there is some fairly clear advice on who is not entitled. You're not entitled to category D if you're violent, if you're a foreign national at risk of deportation, if you're an escaper, if you're someone who continues to behave in a criminal way whilst in prison, or if you're somebody who disrupts the security and good order of a prison. So, given that none of these things apply to Tommy Robinson, why can he not be housed in a category D open prison? I have no doubt that what is happening to Tommy is a breach of his Article 3 human rights. And that's the bit that prohibits torture and inhuman treatment. And in my view, that is exactly what's going on. So the question is, what can all of us do about it? What can we do about it? First thing, lobby your MPs. They should be asking these questions on our behalf, but they're not. Lobby your MPs. Secondly, tell everybody what's going on. They're not going to hear about this on the BBC, are they? They're not going to read about it in The Guardian. Tell your mates, tell your kids, tell everybody down the pub what's going on. Refuse to be silenced. And if anybody doesn't like what you're saying, defeat them with facts. That's what Tommy does, isn't it? I've never seen him lose an argument, because he just bombards people with truth and facts, and you can't stand up against it. So we must all do the same. We must all step up now. We are all Tommy Robinson. Thank you for listening.